Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show on a Tuesday morning. It's hour number 2 of the Gary Sutton Show on WSBA. Talking a little bit more about your money this morning here. Of course, we took your financial pulse with Ryan Fox at 9:40 or 9:35. But I wanted to talk to this next gentleman about something called the Money Anxiety Index. And he has written a book, in fact, called that, the Money Anxiety Index. He is also Money Anxiety, and he's also an expert in behavioral finance. His name is Dr. Dean Geller, and he's with us here on the Gary Sutton Show this morning. Dr. Geller, an honor to have you aboard, sir.
Thank you, Gary. It's a pleasure to be on your great show.
Well, thank you. The October preliminary Money Anxiety Index is out at 69.2. The September final was at 69.3. But you know what? None of that makes any sense to anybody right now because they don't know what the Money Anxiety Index is. So we're going to start out this morning by talking about what is a Money Anxiety Index, because this has become a fairly good predictive type of thing as far as our economy. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure, and you're absolutely right. It's a great predictor, and here is why. What the Money Anxiety Index does, Gary, it measures the level of fear and financial worry that consumers have by way of what do they actually do with their money, not what they say they do. And these are two different things. As you know, when there are consumer confidence surveys, those are surveys that ask people, what do you do or what do you think? That's kind of a subjective view on their financials, because people can say many things depending on how they got up in the morning. But what the Money Anxiety Index does, it measures what they actually do with their money. How much do they spend, on what type of things, how much do they save, what type of savings they have. And according to that, you can actually detect the level of their money anxiety. So basically, the Money Anxiety Index looks at the behavioral pattern, financial behavioral pattern of consumers, and then provides an index. So the number that you said, like the 69.2 preliminary for October, means that this is the level of financial anxiety right now, and if we put it in relative terms, just like I mentioned in the analysis, we are below the 50-year average for the first time in 6 years.
So that's a good thing, right?
That's a good thing.
We like that. I saw, and for people out there listening to this, they're saying, okay, well, what was the high? Well, the high was 135.3 during the recession back in the early 1980s. You remember that? To a low of 38.7 in the mid-1960s. Geez, I mean, that was pretty good. So we're somewhere right now kind of in the middle of the area, right?
Yes, we are kind of on an improving downward trend in the level of money anxiety. Things are improving. People feel, financially at least, feel a little better about the prospect of economic recovery. And we can see some of it in, for instance, the employment report that just came out last week, almost 250,000 new non-farm jobs. That's outstanding. So things are getting better. Now, they are not improving as fast as in previous recessions, but still, yes, we are on the path of recovery, slow, moderate, nevertheless, recovery, absolutely.
Dr. Geller, before the recession started, the Money Anxiety Index stood at 58.6. It's now, as we mentioned, at 69.2. A lot of people looked at the numbers last week and said, yeah, it's good. We're 215,000 or something like that, new jobs created. We like that. That's moving in the right direction. Yet, one of the things, and you mentioned it's not going as quick as some other recession recoveries have come, is the idea that there's a lot of people still out of the workforce here in the United States. And that has got to be a disconcerting fact to a lot of people. So it doesn't necessarily tell the whole story last week when you say, well, we created 250,000 jobs, and yet there's less people fighting for those jobs right now. We know that number was out there, too. How do we fit that into the whole Money Anxiety Index?
That's an excellent question, Gary. So let's tackle the first part of the question first about the unemployment, you're right. The fact that 248,000 new jobs were created is just one part of the picture. The other part is that our labor participation number is going down gradually. Now, this is more a structural issue and a demographic issue than economic issue.
Okay.
Structural basically means we are moving towards kind of a digital economy, and the skill sets required for the digital economy are different than what they were required, let's say, in the industrial age. And therefore, people who came out of factories or manufacturing, and now they have to learn how to write codes for software or programs or computers, it's not easy to do this transformation. So some of them fall off the labor force. But it's not the economy, it's just basically the evolution of our society. We are shifting to the digital age. So that's part of it. Nevertheless, you're right. Labor participation is declining slowly. How does this relate to the money anxiety index? Well, when there are less people participating in the labor force, it does impact the level of financial anxiety. Those people now have to figure out how to make a living and how to support themselves, and their spending pattern changes.
And obviously that's going to affect the economy because less disposable income, more people living off, probably government help in some way, shape, or form, and obviously more people then having more taxes taken out to do it. I mean, it really does have a ripple effect, does it not?
Bingo. And back to what we said earlier, why is this recession takes longer to recover than all the others? That's one of the reasons, not all the reason, not the only reason, but one of the reasons is because there is a segment of the labor force that is not participating anymore for different reasons, and it slows down the recovery. Absolutely. So
if you look at the recovery right now, we look at past recessions, and we say, okay, is there a way that we could have made this recovery go faster? Because other recessions have tended to jump out more. This recovery has been one of the slowest, I think, of the last 6 recessions, and you can correct me on that if I'm wrong, that have happened in this country. Why so?
Yes, you're correct. This is the slowest recovery since the Great Depression. Many reasons for that. One reason is that the one that we just mentioned, that we are in a transitional period into the digital age, which requires very specific skill set. And, those who were trained to do other things find it harder to adjust to the new digital economy. That's one reason. Another reason is demographics. Remember that now we are looking at the baby boomers reaching an age where retraining is not so easy. And those are mainly the people who are dropping off the labor force. And finally, I think that this recession was so deep and so significant that it really shook off the confidence, the financial confidence of people in our ability to recover. It left some serious scars. As you know, people lost. I heard your guest in the previous section talking about, when you are ready to retire, think about the risk level that you want to take. Some people lost about half the retirement money, the 401k and whatever they had in mutual funds. this left some scars. This, and of course, the loss on equity in real estate. Absolutely.
You know, it's interesting to me too, Dr. Geller. We're talking with Dr. Dan Geller, who's an expert in behavioral finance and the author of the book Money Anxiety, an interesting book, by the way. It's interesting to me that this was also the start of the so-called millennials stepping out into the workforce as well. And many of them, we're seeing some real habits right now where many of them, for example, are staying at home longer. Many of them are having parents financing their first homes. We're seeing a lot of them out there who are loath to put money into the stock market because they really don't trust it. They saw it in a whole different light stepping out of the gate. So there are some behavioral patterns right there that really kind of fit into the whole picture too, don't they?
Yes, and so, you mentioned like young people who graduate from college, for instance, and go back home to stay with their parents. We have a problem now with student loans. We are now over $1 trillion in student loans, and this is the segment of the population that is supposed to now enter the labor force and buy homes and buy new cars and basically spend money on durable goods.
We're in essence turning the economy over to them, right?
Exactly. That's the next generation.
Yeah.
That's the next generation. So we are wondering why is real estate so slow to recover? Because the generation that was supposed to pick up the baton now and be the next homeowners are already in debt with
student loan and
student loans, and that's a problem. Yes, this is part of the issue that is slowing the recovery.
Dr. Dan Geller with us, expert in behavioral finance, the author of the book Money Anxiety. We've got a caller on for you, Dr. Geller. Let's bring him in here. It's John in York. John, you got a question for Dr. Geller. Go ahead. Your turn to make the call.
Good morning. Yes, I heard him mention this twice about we're in a new age of digital and skill sets, and that seems to be like the birds that sit in my wire at night and sing a song. Everybody sings that same song. If today everybody that was unemployed learned how to code JavaScript or whatever scripting or whatever code, I doubt if that would change the unemployment very much, because that skill set can be moved to a different country. It's unlike the old days under Adam Smith's economy, where to move the jobs was a big ordeal. Now it can be moved with a computer, and those jobs are moved away. So what makes me think that it would be safe if everybody was into coding?
Let me get Dr. Geller's reaction to that. Thanks so much, John. Dr. Geller?
Yeah, John, very good question. And John is right to an extent that in a way there are cheaper places to do some of the tasks of the digital age. However, not all of them. You see, we are now, the strength of this country, despite the exporting of some of the jobs, is that we are retaining and maintaining the brain work. And everything that has to do with the design and all the brain work is done here. The only thing that really is being exported to other countries where labor is cheaper is the actual mechanical job, the assembly and the manufacturing. So if you take, iPhones and all that, all the design and all the engineering and everything that has to do with the brain work is done here, but the assembling and the manufacturing is done overseas. So yes, your caller, John, is absolutely right. Part of it is going overseas, but we need more of the brain work here.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with Dr. Dan Geller, who is an expert in behavioral finance and the author of the book, Money Anxiety. Fascinating stuff this morning. And Dr. Geller, when we get back, I want to ask you about where we go from here and when will the economic recovery be? You've got some information about that as well in the book, Money Anxiety, all here on the Gary Sutton Show on WSBA. Dr. Geller will be right back. Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show on WSBA with Dr. Dan Geller, who is an expert in behavioral finance, the author of the book Money Anxiety. We'll have it up, by the way, on our website tomorrow at Facebook, and you can hear it again if you'd like, facebook.com/910WSBA, and we welcome Dr. Geller back. Dr. Geller, I read something interesting last week that the president said, and this is not really a political thing, it's just a statement, but the president basically said that there's no credible argument that tax cuts could help the economy. He continues to say this, and I guess one of the things I'm looking at, and since I have you here and you're an economy guy, if you give money back to people, okay, from the money that is over-collected in the government, if you give money back to people in terms of the cuts, and they have more money to use in their hands, wouldn't that be better for the economy authentically, or is there something that the president's saying there that has some truth to it?
Gary, this is a fabulous question, because this is kind of the holy grail of what needs to be done. Yes, more money in the hands of consumers is going to help. However, more importantly is confidence, financial confidence. If you give more money to consumers and the financial confidence level is low, meaning their money anxiety is high, no, it's not going to help, they'll put it in the bank. That's what happens. That's what's happening now. If you look at corporate America and consumers, let's take corporate America, one of the reasons the stock market is going sky high is not so much the fundamentals, it's because corporations keep on buying, they have so much money, they don't reinvest, they buy back their stock, which appreciates their stock. So that's what we see in the stock market. Same thing with consumers. Consumers have money. Right now, we have close to $11 trillion in bank and credit union savings accounts belonging to consumers. 11 trillion. This is almost 2/3 of our GDP sitting in bank accounts. They are not spending as much as they would if their level of money anxiety was lower.
You made a great point in money anxiety when you said the U.S. economy will fully recover when the amount held in bank accounts by consumers will go below 50% of GDP. I thought that was really an interesting statement. Take us inside that a bit.
Okay, so if we look back at the last 50 years, the amount of money consumers held in savings, in their bank accounts, never exceeded 50% of GDP. It's a relative number. So when we take how much money do consumers have in the bank versus the GDP number, never exceeded 50%, which kind of gives us an idea of what needs to be done as far as saving and spending. Now we cross that. We are at about 57% of GDP, and the difference is about $2 trillion. Bottom line, there is $2 trillion sitting in the bank right now belonging to consumers that should have been circulating in the economy and stimulating the economy, but they are not.
And there you go. And for all the reasons that we've talked about so far, so that $2 trillion sitting out there right now with consumers that could be putting back in the economy. Again, a lot of people are risk adverse right now, and there are a lot of people, as we've mentioned, for a whole lot of reasons, who really are not putting that back in the economy, but are saving, putting it away, saving for a rainy day, whatever. And when that money drops below 50%, we might well see people getting back in the economy both feet, right?
That's exactly it. That's what we need. We need the level of money anxiety to go down, and which will trigger spending both on the consumer side and on the corporate side, and then we will see the economy really picking up.
I have about 30 seconds left with you, Dr. Geller. So what will cut that loose? Is there any one thing that you see could really be a catalyst in cutting that money loose and getting it spurred back into the economy?
Restore financial confidence both for consumers and businesses. One way is basically to either reduce all the regulations, make it easier for, let's say, companies to do business, less restrictions, less regulations. This will restore confidence and give the economy what it needs to move forward.
It's same old story. I hear it all the time, and it's a great story. It's Money Anxiety is the name of the book. People can get that out at Amazon.com. You can buy it at your store. Dr. Geller, fabulous book. Fabulous time with you this morning. Thank you for getting us inside the numbers. It really was fascinating.
Gary, my pleasure. Anytime.
Thank you, Dr. Geller. We'll talk to you again. Dr. Dan Geller with us on the Gary Sutton Show. The name of the book is The Money Anxiety, and he talks about the Money Anxiety Index. For you people who are really into where your money's going and how the economy operates and so forth, it really is an interesting read. Check it out.